Alright, so we have a video request from a fellow controller Feral Druid. Even though he's not running console port, he's clearly got his bind set up for what looks like an Xbox controller. It's our friend named Vamps. He's playing at around 800 MMR. And I wanted to start on this page because one of the biggest things that I want to talk about is just your damage. And I'll link to Snoopy's video, I'll link to the Wowhead article on doing damage as a Feral Druid. It is very complicated, and you just need to spend the time at a training dummy to get it right. It just takes a lot of time. You know, I've played Feral Druid for years, so it's under my fingers. I don't have to think about it. If you have to think about how you do damage as a Feral Druid, you will not win games. Just flat out, that's how it is. But a few quick things that I can comment on. This point, I believe it's called Merciless Claws. This point, I believe it's called Tireless Energy. Wasted points. Don't take those. You're playing a cleave build. Those points should be in Circle of Life and Death, which makes your bleeds tick faster, and Apex Predator, which gives you bite procs when your rips tick. And if your rips are ticking faster, you'll get more bite procs. Although I'm not sure exactly how it works now, because it's kind of a random proc per minute type thing. So, you know, but that's neither here nor there. I personally play Dire Fixation. I love it. I'm not sure that I ever see you press Shred, though. So, care with that, right? If you're not pressing Shred, this button can be pressed, this talent can go somewhere else. I think you only need 8. So in this top third, which cuts off here, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, you don't need these 3. If anything, you could move that Dire Fixation one to Omen if you want. But even Omen probably wants you to be pressing Shred more. So just, you know, again, we need to spend some time on a target dummy and figure out exactly how we're going to do damage as a Feral, get it so that it's second nature. This lobby is 2 Resto Druids, you as a Feral Druid, a Boomy, Marksmanship Hunter, and a Demon Hunter. So there's nothing to decurse. So we don't need this. We don't ever try and heal ourselves. I'm not saying generally, I'm saying in this video, you don't heal yourself at all. So really, and we're trying to play a cleave build. You spam Primal Wrath, which is not bad, although I'll highlight a few moments where it is bad. You really need this Astral Influence talent. I believe that with the Astral Influence talent, your Primal Wrath range becomes 14 yards, which is crazy on its own, but it also, like, think about it this way. It means that if 2 enemies are 28 yards apart and you stand in between them, you can reach both of them. It's crazy. You need this. So I would take all 4 points out of here. That gets you to the first point of Astral Influence. I don't think I ever see you press Heart of the Wild, so I honestly would take that out and get the second point of Astral Influence. And frankly, I don't think that Well-Honed Instincts is going to be as valuable as Rising Light, Falling Night, which is just going to give you a little bit of a versatility boost at night. Last thing, PvP talents. Thorns really only affects the Demon Hunter, and he should be purging it, even though I don't think I see him press purge. You should be running Wicked Claws here. You can spread your Mortal Strike effect to the whole team, and that will create pressure just by making it harder for the other healer to heal his whole team, right? It's going to cost more GCDs, it's going to cost more mana, it's going to stress them out a little bit more. You should definitely be running Wicked Claws, even when you're with the Demon Hunter. Again, because you can spread it to everybody. The Demon Hunter can really only spread it to everybody if they're all clumped up. So, things to think about. And that is how I want to start. So the 3 key things that I noticed are your damage. I won't talk too much about it. I'll highlight kind of the worst spots. Strategy. and tactics are the two other things that I think we could really benefit from. I don't know what your strategy is in most of these rounds, and by strategy I mean who we're going to kill. And that might mean swapping around a little bit as a general game plan, but the point of Solo Shuffle is to score a kill on the enemy team. Your strategy is who is going to be that person who dies on the enemy team. I'm looking at Resto Druid, Boomy, Demon Hunter. My money is on Boomy, right? For a few reasons. Generally speaking, when you have a ranged and a melee in a lobby, you want to focus the ranged because you're going to be able to cleave. You're more likely to be able to cleave onto the melee as well, right? And against a Resto Druid, you do want to cleave as much as possible. Secondly, Boomies are going to be a little bit less tanky than Demon Hunters. They have fewer defensive options, so they're good to just train. Especially right now when he's got the eye up, which makes him take more damage. Another part of strategy is where's your positioning. You've just used, I see dashes on cooldown, and you just used Stampeding Roar to not really do anything. In the opening of the arena, I want to be standing right where this Resto Druid is standing, actually. Out of line of sight of the other team, and ready to pounce as soon as they come out. Right, so we do get on to the Boomy, and your opener is great. You've got the first 5 or 6 GCDs down. Great job. You force Spark Skin right away. You're playing Badge. I don't think that's really the play. I think you want to be playing Insignia, but that's neither here nor there really. You're starting to cleave onto the Demon Hunter, fantastic. You threw a bite in there, fantastic. Here we press Primal Wrath 4 times in a row. And I believe that the first one is a 5 combo point. Yeah, but then went 2 combo point and then 2 1 combo point Primal Wraths. We can't do that. Take a look, read up, watch the videos, figure out how we're going to do damage and how you're going to get to a point where it's like you could do it in your sleep. I pause here because you just Primal Wrathed, and if you had Astral Influence, the range extender, it would have hit everybody. But instead, it only hits the Resto Druid, right? You're in a great position to cleave onto everybody. And had you cleaved onto everybody, this next play that you make would have been absolutely chef's kiss fantastic, because you'd have bleeds rolling, you'd have pressure, you get a bash, the Resto Druid trinkets the bash late into a full Cyclone. This is fantastic. Now, let's talk tactics, right? Let's assume that you had your rip rolling on this Boomy, right? Tactics are the mini plays that help you achieve your strategy, right? The main tactic for a Feral Druid these days is Cyclone on the healer or off target, spend the Free Frenzy proc, preferably with a bite, because you should already have your rip rolling on the main target. So bite the main target to get the Free Frenzy, and then with those 5 combo points, you should be maiming the main target, right? If you can get that play down, Cyclone into bite, into maim, if you can get that play down and you do that 3 times in a round at this level, you'll win that round. I almost guarantee it. I'd love for you to get that play down, record yourself again, send me a new video where you lose a round, where you do that play 3 times. I'm talking full Cyclone, into a bite, into a full maim on the main target. I'd be shocked. So focus on getting that play down. That's your tactic, right? So we're on the Boomy. We've got our bleeds rolling. That's great. Here is something interesting. So I think what happens is, well, no, we're cycling. Yeah, so we spend the maim You spend a 1 combo point maim onto the Demon Hunter. I like where your head's at, right? You're thinking, I need to stun into a Cyclone. That's not a bad play, right? I prefer the way that you did it on the Resto Druid, right? A bash into a Cyclone is a great play. A 1 combo point maim, I mean, first of all, the maim ends really before you start casting Cyclone. So what did it really accomplish, right? I mean, it just didn't do all that much. If you're locking, the point of stun into Cyclone is to lock them down so that you can get the Cyclone off, right? That doesn't really happen here, right? He could kick, if he was so inclined to kick, he could kick you during that Cyclone. But you get the full Cyclone off, which is great. Then you Primal Wrath. Here's a quick note. There are a bunch of treants out. There's a bunch of little pets out. When you Primal Wrath, with the Wild Attunement buff, which gives you that free Feral Frenzy, the reason that I want you to bite whoever you're going for is because when you Primal Wrath, the free Feral Frenzy can go on any target that you hit, including the little treants. So think about that. Keep that in mind. You want to be biting the target. Now, I think we Cyclone the Boomy just for pressure. It's not a bad play. Not a bad play at all. Boomy's at like 60%. We get a Cyclone on him. We get a Recyclone on the Demon Hunter. Fantastic. But then, what's really the play here? Now, if we look, the Boomy, our Hunter, is still dealing pretty good damage to the Boomy, right? And yeah, he's got Barkskin back up, but that's not really going to save him too much. Especially, we're 2 minutes in, dampening's getting higher. So I think what you're thinking here is, I see the Demon Hunter, I see the Resto Druid, they're stacked up. We can do good cleave damage to them. But you've got to be aware of what your team's doing. You've got to be aware of what's going on. The Boomy's sitting at half health. If you went over and got your bleeds up, got a few bites in on the Boomy, you win this round, right? He's dipping really low. If you were chipping in on damage here, you could really turn that around. They do start to swap to you. The other thing, it's a little bit ridiculous, but the other thing to note is that you're standing on top of your Hunter. You're making it really easy for this Demon Hunter to just cleave both of you, and even the Boomy. The Boomy cleaves enough, right? And so now you become a good swap target, and they have swapped to you. You spend your wall, which is great reactions, and you get a full clone onto the Resto Druid. Fantastic. But now look around. The play is not on this Demon Hunter, right? This Demon Hunter just went back into meta, so he's got a ton of leech. He's going to live forever. He's not going to die. If anything, I would want to bash him, because now, this is how you completely can control a lobby as a Feral Druid. You get a massive Cyclone onto the healer. You get a 4-second bash, which isn't going to proc his adaptation. A 4-second bash, and then you can leap over to this guy, bite him with your 1 combo point, and get 5 combo points to maim, and you have locked down the entire team, right? So it's things like that. You got to look at the situation, got to figure out what's going on. Your Hunter is dead set on killing the Boomy. And look, the Demon Hunter's not even looking at you, and you are going down. That's the state of Feral these days, right? And then 1 Star Surge, and you're dead. I don't like that we died with Barkskin up and Renewal up, but that's kind of that's a secondary thing. The main thing is get your damage right and have your strategy. Be flexible with your strategy. Like I said, I think Boomy is the play, but okay, you went and you started cleaving. Not a bad play, but then look at what else is going on. Your Hunter is clearly on your Boomy, and just on your Boomy all day long, or on their Boomy all day long. So, you gotta recognize that and switch with it, right? Okay. Again, I think we dash in the opening room. I don't love that. Like I said, it's not like it comes back to bite us, because everyone just kind of stands still. I mean, the whole match happened kind of just right here, or rather right over here. But at higher levels, that's not going to be the case. So again, we gotta get into a ready position. I'm not sure why we're running away from the fight here. We really should be diving in. We are a momentum-based class. We need to get in, get the stuns rolling, get the bleeds rolling, get that pressure up, put them on the back foot as best we can, and go from there. Now look, immediately, this, first of all, let's just pause here. Who should you be going in this lobby, in this configuration? The answer is the Marksmanship Hunter, right? First of all, one of the things that you need to do is think about how the last round went. What did we see our Marksmanship Hunter do? He stood still, he tunneled one target, he never kited, and he doesn't have a trinket. We should be going the Marksmanship Hunter. And it looks like he's about the lowest gear, just based on health pools. Everyone else is sitting above 900. He's at full health, and he's below 900. So he likely doesn't have the most gear either. So, we should be going him. The other thing is that if we go, when we have a ranged and a melee opponent, it is generally speaking going to be better to target the ranged opponent because your chances of being able to cleave onto the melee are higher. So anyway, we open on the Resto Druid. I don't love that, but okay. We get Nether Walk from the Demon Hunter immediately. Fantastic. Now we should be pushing in to go hard on the Hunter. Right? Our team is kind of way back here, which I don't love. They're not in a great position. So your second thought could be, I need to line the Hunter. There are two ways to get to the Hunter. You could chase him, or if he's going to go you can tuck around this pillar, and he now has to move to a spot where he can get you, either over here, or if he comes over here, that's pretty nice too, right? So think about your positioning, think about how you're going to achieve your goals. So you push in on the Hunter, love it, because he's the main target. He comes in and stands in a good spot anyway. Now you can cleave onto the Resto Druid, and you're doing good. You Thorns, I'm not sure what you're Thornsing. I think you're just kind of, I don't know if that was a fat finger. But again, not a great button to press. It doesn't really affect anything. We are going hard on this Resto Druid, and that's something that I want to call out a little bit. We are just not doing a great job of tracking DRs. Now, the first time I watched this, I actually wasn't sure if you were tracking DRs, but I see that they are over here. They need to be right in the middle. You need to know that when you cast this Cyclone, you're getting a triple DR'd Cyclone, right? That's not really worth it, okay? So that's something to think about. we're a little too focused on the Resto Druid. We need to get back to the Hunter, which you start to do here, which is great. Again, we're kind of spending... We're spending a half combo point Primal Wrath here on the Hunter. I think we do 3 combo points, no Blood Talons up. So we need to look at the damage. We need to look at our damage rotation. All right. So I believe, and this Hunter is pressing Sniper Shot, which is hilarious. Was that our Cyclone on the Resto Druid? It was not. But okay, we're doing damage to the Hunter. This is fantastic. This is what we want. All right. And then we get a, again, it's a good Cyclone. It's not great because it is DR'd. But okay, we got Cyclone, and then the Hunter, doing a pretty good job actually, of reacting, presses Turtle. This Hunter is now the juiciest target, right? You do a great job of swapping over to the Demon Hunter. I don't love that you closed the gap with Skull Bash, but that's going to come back to bite you as you climb a little bit higher. But here's how I would be thinking about this. By the way, you do a great job of swapping here, right? Part of the art of Solo Shuffle is just doing great damage and doing great effective damage, and you did a great job there of recognizing that there's only one person in this lobby in this particular moment that you can do effective damage to, and it's the Demon Hunter, and you swapped right away. Fantastic. What I want you to be thinking about now is you got Cyclone, you got the Cyclone on the Resto Druid, that forced out Turtle. This Hunter has nothing left, and he has no trinket. This guy can die in the next Maim stun, right? I know we're not using Maim very well, but that's how you need to elevate your thinking here. That's what's going to get you the win. This guy's going to die in the next Maim stun, and if we can get a full Cyclone on this Resto Druid, be getting some poke damage in, keeping our bleeds up on the Hunter. If we can keep the Hunter probably around this health with full bleeds rolling and get a full Cyclone on the healer, get a full Maim on the Hunter, he will die, right? So I would be spending pretty much the next 20 seconds checking this. Just checking to see when this Resto Druid is going to come off of DR for this Cyclone, right? I'll poke and prod at everybody. I'll keep my bleeds up. I'll make sure that I don't die. I might even consider cycloning the Hunter a few times, right? Stop his pressure. We're not going to kill him. We're not going to kill him while this Resto Druid is on this DR, right? That Hunter's not going to die because he can just be healed up too easily. So I might even consider cycloning the Hunter, right? To make sure that he can't get new heals, to make sure that some of his hots fall off. That's the kind of stuff that I think you really need to be thinking about. How are you going to score that kill? But again, you do a great job swapping, starting to get the bleeds rolling. Again, there, if you just had Astral Influence, that Primal Wrath, guaranteed this Primal Wrath hits this Resto Druid. Oh, I hate it. You need to get Astral Influence. But you're doing a good job. You get the rake bleed up. And then you get the bash. Okay. So you're going for it. But you're too antsy on it. There's still 4 seconds left on this DR. So you need to wait. If you wait 4 seconds and then get that bash into the Cyclone, into a Maim on Oh, and then you use Maim to proc the Feral Frenzy. If you do it the other way around, if you do a bite into a Maim, that's your play. That's your play. You make that play, like I said, 3 times in a round at this level, you make that play, there's no way you lose this round, right? So you're there, you're on it. Just tighten it up a little bit. Make sure you're looking at the DRs. Make sure that you are thinking about how you're going to get that kill. Now, again, you're thinking about the right things. You're going for a Cyclone on the Resto Druid. Fantastic. Your Resto Druid beat you to it. One of the things that I would think about here is I would, this Demon Hunter has left you alone. And I'm not sure that the Marksmanship Hunter knows where his kick button is. This Demon Hunter is also just trying to solo your Boomy. So I would be thinking at times about cycloning the Demon Hunter, stopping some of his pressure, obviously, and peeling for your Boomy, right? And I think that's what you swap to. Yeah, fantastic. You proc his adaptation, which is totally fine. It does unfortunately overlap with the bash, but it is what it is. Now, your Boomy dies. He probably needs to be kiting a little bit better. That's a little rough, but look how low the Marksmanship Hunter was. You got so close to that kill. As long as you nail that tactic, if you waited a few more seconds on your bash Cyclone into the Maim on the Hunter, you win this round. All right. Third round, I'm going to skip through a little bit. Again, we dash out of the opening gate. Don't really do anything with it. We Stampeding Roar, I believe. Yep, we're Stampeding Roar here. No one on the team is visible. So I don't really know what we're doing. And now we're a mile away from the Hunter. And we have to chase him for so long. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter. Because you don't get punished for it. There's no real kiting going on. But it will matter in higher MMRs. So again, your opener is pretty good. I like what I'm seeing there. You force Turtle, fantastic. And then you go for a Cyclone on the Boomy, which is not a bad play at all. It forces Trinket from the Boomy. And the Boomy's the only one in range. I would probably, one thing that I think about when I get a big immunity or a big CD from the other team is I want to Cyclone the healer, right? He's stopping all incoming damage, but he's still at 50% health, and the healer's got to heal him up, right? If you Cyclone the Resto Druid while the Hunter is in Turtle, suddenly he's not getting healed up, the Resto Druid's way behind, and now Turtle's ending, and you can start doing a lot more, you can start doing damage again into him. So, but, I don't hate the play. You get Cyclone onto the Boomy. Yeah, here, again, you got the Cyclone, you get the Feral Frenzy proc, but you Primal Wrath and you hit the pet. You don't have the range extender to hit the Hunter. You hit the pet. You end up Feral Frenzying the pet because that's how that proc works, right? You can hit anybody that your Primal Wrath hits, right? It picks a random target. So you should really be biting to spend the Wild Attunement proc, right? So I'll let this roll for a second. You and your Resto Druid are thinking the same thing. That happens sometimes. I get annoyed sometimes when Resto Druids are doing that. I don't hate the clone onto the Hunter. Our Demon Hunter dropping a little bit low. So, not a bad play. You Maim into a Cyclone, which again, I would love to see, you cyclone and then maim this hunter here, right? Because he just got a big sniper shot off, and those sniper shots are trucking. I mean, that hits for 250k or so. That's big. But if the hunter's locked down, if you have maimed the hunter, this suddenly your demon hunter is not taking any damage. This is my least favorite cyclone of the entire round, or of the entire game. That healer has less than half of the DR duration left. You are about to make this 9 seconds go back up to 20 seconds in exchange for a 1.5 second cyclone. This is why you need to track DRs, right? This is why you need to be paying attention over here. You need to take these and put them over here. If you wait 10 seconds for that Druid is now in a 6-second cyclone, and you have a much higher chance of finishing this round, right? Look at how low this hunter is, right? If you went over, even if you bashed, you see, okay, wait, he's on a huge cyclone DR. Let's bash him. 4 seconds stun, this hunter dies, 100%. He traps you, okay, we go for a bash clone. I would have loved to see a bash clone onto the Boomy, because we should know that the Resto Druid is on DR. Again, or, now is the perfect time. He's got 3 seconds left. Now is the perfect time to bash the Resto Druid. As the bash is ending, land the Cyclone. That's how you keep him locked down. Your Demon Hunter trolls a little bit with the Imprison. I don't love that play. At this point in the round, we're 2 minutes in. We have damage rolling. The Hunter has no turtle. The Resto Druid has spent just about all of his CDs, although he does have Iron Bark coming up again. That's a good clone, but we need to focus that pressure onto the Hunter, right? We need to be biting to get that Feral Frenzy on the Hunter, and get a Maim on the Hunter. Lock this guy down, right? Maim is off cooldown, and it stays off cooldown for so long. We get a clone on the Boomy. Great play, great play. That's exactly what you need to be doing when you see that the healer is on full clone DR. Fantastic. We kick the Cyclone. I don't hate that play, but I would have liked to see we clone the Boomy, we turn around, we bite the Hunter, and we keep building pressure. Now, we maim the Resto Druid, not a terrible play. We do it right as the DR falls. That's, look, DR's coming off. We get a big stun onto a big clone. We are so close to winning this, right? This is the tactic. Now, we get the... I'm not sure if the Feral Frenzy hits the Hunter. It could hit one of the Treants. Could hit his pet. Or no, his pet's dead. Never mind. You don't have any more follow-up for CC on this Druid. So just pump into the Hunter. Get some bites going. One bite and this guy dies. And at this point in the round, I'm thinking, okay, he's Iron Barked, but he Iron Barked him so low. He's got nothing left. The Druid has no more cooldowns. The Hunter has no more cooldowns. We win this game as long as I don't die. And I shouldn't die because I have my wall up. And in fact, second Incarn is a great time to use your wall, right? Because if you live to second Incarn and you get your pressure rolling, you will win rounds, right? As long as you live. So we really need to be thinking right now, just don't die. Hard to see, but we're about to get sniper shotted, and we didn't spend any of our cooldowns, any of our defensive cooldowns, and we died. A little bit unfortunate. Hunter held on with 60k life. Again, one bite, and that Hunter dies, right? So it is what it is. One rule of thumb, don't die with buttons up, right? If you had buttons to press, you should have pressed them. So anyway, 4th round here, again, positioning, don't waste buttons. You know, I'm a little bit confused as to what the opening plan is here. I'm not sure if you knew that this was the Resto Druid, or if you thought that this was the Boomy, but Resto Druid is typically not going to be the main target. They're fine to swap to, but typically you're not going to make them your main kill target. Now, we need to take stock here a little bit, because we just got Darkness and Turtle in most of the Resto Druid CDs. So there are a lot of juicy targets here now, especially the Hunter, right? If we are on the Hunter, we will probably be cleaving the Demon Hunter as well, right? If we're, you know, so that's something to be thinking about. If we're not on the Hunter, what we really need to be doing is playing around this wall here, right? If we're not going to be going the Hunter, there's no reason for us to just stand in the Hunter's line of sight and get free, and give the Hunter free damage on us. You know, I mean, we're getting trucked here, right? And we get a good peel onto the Resto Druid. We run away from the Hunter, which is great. We use our wall. We did kind of use everything there. We used Renewal, then we walled, then we Bearformed, Frenzy Regen, then we Bark Skinned as well. Little bit of overkill. You're gonna get punished for that in higher MMRs. You're also gonna get punished for closing the gaps with a stun, or with a kick, right? That's not the way to do it. But okay, we're on the Hunter. We're starting to cleave, which is fantastic. We go off of the Hunter, and again, if we're not gonna be on the Hunter and we want to cleave these two, we stand right here, so that we're not just getting shredded by this Hunter, right? If we have Astral Influence, we can stand right around this corner and still hit both of these guys. So something to think about, and the Demon Hunter's going us clearly, and so if we start at the pillar, we're dragging the Demon Hunter in because he has less range than we do. We can drag that Demon Hunter around the corner, and all of a sudden the Hunter needs to come in, right? The Hunter needs to reposition to a point where he has a line of sight. So, things to think about. We get a good bash into clone, love it. But again, think about the Hunter's line of sight. You know, you have a lot of time on that bash. Well, although it's a half bash for some reason. I don't know why that bash feels so slow. Oh yeah, he is on the stun yard. So it's a half bash, but if it was a full bash, you could run over here. You have 4 seconds, right? And Cyclone cast takes less than 2. So you have 2 seconds to run over here and be out of the line of sight of the Hunter, so that you can land that Cyclone cast without worrying about getting kicked. So, things to think about. Plays that are going to elevate you to the next level. Now, a kick on this Resto Druid would clinch the game. I mean, your Boomy basically solos the Hunter, so you get it anyway. But look for those kicks, look for the maims, look for the bash clone into a maim. That's your play, right? And you can mess around with kicking, with focus kicking, but I really want to see you capitalize on these cyclones into a maim on the main target, right? Same deal here. We're wasting our speed boosts. I don't love our positioning, but you know, things to work on, things to think about. I believe that DH spends, darkness for no reason. Keep track of that. He's now without one of his most major cooldowns. Now, it's a bit unfortunate to get knocked out of stealth here, but a good opener. I think we're about to see a bash clone. Yep, bash into clone. Fantastic. And now work on the follow-up, right? A bite into a maim. We kind of switch over to the Demon Hunter. That's fine. It's fine. I would prefer that we're on the Boomy. But again, we maim to land the clone, and we just don't need to do that. Also, again, we're spending the free Feral Frenzy proc on a Primal Wrath, which is just going to be inconsistent in terms of getting good damage out. We Cyclone the Boomy, which isn't bad. Hunter kind of trolls us by just dropping a trap in the middle of the map. Okay, we're doing a good job of getting Cyclones out, but we just need that follow-up, right? Capitalize on the Cyclones. There's not a lot wrong in this round, but what I would do, because you need to work on strategy and you need to work on tactics, and to focus on strategy, what I would do is watch your videos back and pause, to work on the tactics. I would watch your videos back. You're doing a good job of getting clone casts off, but pause as you cast each clone and think about, did you know who you were going to attack if the clone landed? What was your next move, right? Right now you're just kind of CCing for the sake of CC, but that's not how you win games. You don't just win by doing CC, you got to do something with it, right? So think about that. That's really going to help you get to that next level. This round kind of peters out as your hunter dies in a relatively disorganized mess. It happens, but not much else to say about that. We need to focus on the strategy of who we're going to kill. We were kind of everywhere in that round. Sometimes on the Boomy, sometimes on the Demon Hunter. We're spending a maim to get a Cyclone. I don't love that, but it is what it is. We talked about talents at the start, so we'll skip through this. Again, we probably should be taking Wicked Claws. We spend our speed boosts. Our positioning is a little weird. Look how far away we are from the Hunter now, and we have to chase him so far. But it's a good opener. You get Turtle right away. And then I think we get a Cyclone coming up here. Yeah. Cyclone on the Resto Druid, fantastic play. Follow it up. I think we got a little bit confused about who was on our team. I think we Primal Wrathed our own Resto Druid, which means that the Primal Wrath only hit the Hunter pet, so the Feral Frenzy goes on the Hunter pet. It is what it is. And okay, we got some bleeds going on the Boomy, but really it was a fantastic Cyclone, and we just kind of wasted it. right? Because we didn't do anything in those 6 seconds. Think about who you're going to attack when you cast a Cyclone. Who am I going to hit if this lands? And what's my follow-up, right? This is a great Cyclone on the Boomy. Clearly our Demon Hunter is not interested in attacking the Boomy. So we can just lock that Boomy up, right? Fantastic. But we need to follow up with big pressure on the Hunter, right? Again, we need to do something in that CC. We get a bash onto the Resto Druid. I would have liked to see a follow-up on the bash. We're just kind of bashing for no real reason. This is great. We're cleaving. We are so close to getting a good Cyclone on this Resto Druid. I don't know if you're aware, but the Demon Hunter Fear effect, Cyclone's on the Fear DR. So the Demon Hunter Fear effect, sorry, these are the Resto Druid TRs. I guess it counts as a disorient, right? Cyclone also is a disorient. So this Resto Druid is double DR'd for Cyclone. If we wait 1 more second, we get a full Cyclone off. And I do this too. I get the timing just a little bit off, but I'm a little bit worried that you're not tracking. You need to be tracking these DRs, okay? Get your damage right first, then work on the tactic of Cyclone into Bite on the main target, into Maim on the main target, and once you have that pattern down, then it's time to focus on the DRs and making sure that you're getting the timing of that pattern down right. Get the damage first, then get the pattern of your main tactic, and then work on making that main tactic even more potent. Okay, those are really the 3 steps that I would see, that I would say we should go for here. So your Demon Hunter gets a great stun on the kill target, right? That's what you should be doing. Your stun is better. Maim is better. Now, again, here, a wasted clone, right? We should know. We just put this Resto Druid on full DR. So we could have kicked any of those regrowths. That would have CC'd the Resto Druid. We get a full Maim as cross CC, I think, and our Demon Hunter finishes it up for us. You know, it's not a bad lobby. It's not bad play. Here's something that that I think is worth pointing out. Your effective damage is only 3rd in the lobby, right? Even though every round you're either top or second top. Your effective damage isn't, and this calculates, it keeps track of damage on players, right? It's not high enough. It really needs to be higher. So focus on your damage. Again, I'll link to Snoopy's video. I'll link to the Wowhead guide. And once you have the damage, you need to just spend, I mean, it could take hours. Spend time at a training dummy until you can do your damage rotation in your sleep. All right, that's what's going to help you here. That's the first thing. That's the highest priority. You can climb from 800 to 1200 just by doing massive damage. Second thing, get your tactic right. You do a great job of getting Cyclones out, but follow up on the Cyclones, right? The play needs to be Cyclone on the healer or the off target, immediately get to your main target, Bite on the main target to proc the Free Feral Frenzy, and then put in a 5-point Maim on the main target. That's your play. Get that down pat, and then we can talk about tracking your DRs and making sure that you're capitalizing and making that play as potent as it can be. But those, I think, are the main things that are going to carry you to that next level, because you're doing a good job of getting the Cyclones out. Now you need to capitalize on that with the right play and the right damage.